Food for Thought with Professor David Bittay.
It's another beautiful Friday morning, and if it's Friday, you know we get to hang out with our favorite professor. Food for Thought with Professor Ndete. Thank you for tuning in. We began a conversation that we are wrapping up this week, looking at stereotyping, prejudice, and discrimination. It's a process that we go through, what we think about a certain group of people, a certain tribe, a certain race, even gender, or even a community. I've seen this also in churches. We look at certain denominations from certain lenses, and because of that, then we behave differently, or we behave in a certain manner towards them. That's what we're looking at, because that should not happen. We should look at every individual from an individual perspective. Well, let's jump into the conversation from where we left off last week. I was going to ask Professor for somebody who, early on we talked about because of maybe a trauma you went through, and you look at a certain group of people from the lens of that trauma, because the person who inflicted pain and traumatized you is from that community. So everybody in that community must be like that. If that is where you are, what kind of help does somebody like that need?
Well, that takes the form of post-traumatic disorder. Yes, there are people who are traumatized, very badly traumatized by groups of people who belong to a certain group, and then because of the psychological mechanism, they associate that trauma with that particular person. Yeah. It's like in what we saw in. I can also give you very many examples here. It's like when there was a bomb last year. Okay. It was, I think, 7th of August, 1998. I think it was.
Yes.
And they said some terrorists who had been seen there who happened to look like certain groups. I can tell you that time we saw many people who they walked in town and they saw an Arab-looking person. They felt traumatized.
Yes.
It so happened that when it happened, I was going to Saudi Arabia, where there are so many Arabs.
Yes. Yes.
And within a very short time, I realized that was just an individual. I'm meeting so many Arabs here
Who are good.
Who are good. So it's normal for people who have been traumatized in a particular war, somebody who has been attacked by a rapist, who has certain characteristics, and somewhere they are walking along the street and they see somebody who looks like that person, they will be traumatized. That is a medical problem, and it can be handled. So if people feel they associate their trauma with the particular individuals, and they really act in a particular way, like they have all the symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder, it reminds them that they have nightmares about them, that is a medical problem and they can be treated. And I will not call it prejudice.
Oh, okay.
No, I will not call it prejudice.
Okay.
Because it can happen to, that trauma could have been inflicted by a person of a different character, of a different description, and things like that. So I think what we are saying is that let us be very careful the way we talk. We must be very careful that we do not appear to profile particular people or to see you. And when I see you, instead of just seeing you as an individual, then I associate you with
the whole community.
With our community. I think without the Kenyans know. We had an incident here not a long time ago. Don't ask me for the details. If you don't know, it's up to you. But people who are listening, and they saw the reaction from particular communities.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Is there a way to break free from that?
Yes.
How?
Yes. Exactly what we are doing.
Talk about it.
Talk about it. Talk about it. If these guys that we see, senior people, the elitist kind of people, if you could bring them into, I don't think they will ever change. I mean, they just leave them alone. Yeah, I don't think they will ever change because they have lived with it for all their life. Just forgive them. And leave them alone, and pray to God that we will get to where Rwanda is. Where you cannot provide a particular person, where UK is, where America is, and it's coming. There's a future.
Yes. I think our leaders sometimes don't help because they're the ones who start calling each other names.
The what?
The leaders.
Yes.
They call each other names.
They call each other
And so when you call a particular leader from a particular community a certain name, the whole community looks at it. This is what you're calling us.
Yes.
Because this is our son, this is our daughter here.
Yes.
And you're calling him that.
Yes.
Then this community is like this community is like this. And I think that doesn't help.
No, it doesn't help at all. It doesn't really help at all. Yeah. So I don't know how we are going to get to that. Although I keep on saying there is hope, which is very true. But let us move to situations where if you are looking for a person to employ, don't look at the name.
Don't look at the name.
Yes.
Look at the merits.
Look at the CV.
What can they do?
What can they do?
Yes.
And let me tell you, Pastor, I have part of that success, and thank God for this foundation.
Yes.
It's because we have people from all over the place, and they are employed competitively.
Yeah.
I don't get involved. In fact, we hire the services of other people to employ us. And I can sit here and relax because I know things are moving. But if I just got people, my relatives or people from Mukambani on the basis that they're going to be royal to me. Or if I have a person somebody comes here and he messes, then I'll go with that person as an individual.
As an individual.
I don't look at where they come from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does this also have to do a bit with emotional intelligence?
Yes, I think it's a lot to do with the emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence, in my view, is when you reason with your emotions. Are your emotions reasonable? Do you distinguish between emotions and facts? And if you are able to distinguish, if you are able to be incisive enough, then your emotions are guided by facts rather than just pure emotions. I think that's the way we are going to move. Yes, so that's the way I see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Any closing remarks as we finish?
Well, yes. Stereotypes. Let's stop talking about America, UK.
Let's talk about home.
They are here and pervasive. They are dangerous. They don't help us to understand individuals, the true worth of individuals. I am not saying that there is anything wrong in belonging to a particular group. There is absolutely nothing wrong because that's where God put us.
We all belong somewhere.
You belong somewhere, and you did have a choice in belonging there. So why should I have a problem just because somebody was born, say, in Butere? What choice do you have? You are just born here. So if we can start seeing people in their true worth, not necessarily where they came from. And of course, respect the fact that people from a certain group, they behave in a particular way, and there's something very positive about the way they behave, they do things. I think this is what we call strength in diversity.
Yes, very, very true.
Can we Kenyans motivate, understand we come from different groups with the cultural ways of doing things, very good things the way they do in those cultures. There's
Yes.
nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
In fact, very beautiful ways of doing things.
Yeah.
Why don't we take what is good and play down what is not constructive? Can we stop profiling people on the basis of their names, on the basis of where they come from, individuals, on the basis of where they come from? Can we see them first and foremost as individuals?
As individuals.
Can we, Kenyans, accept that there is this problem? And that the biggest problem, the biggest perpetrators of this problem, shall I say they are politicians?
Yeah, I agree with you.
We call it by name.
Yeah,
You,
politicians.
the politicians. You perpetuate these differences where Mkamba, where Mjaluo, where this and one.
Yeah.
And there is not. How many people have missed jobs because they have the wrong name?
Had the wrong name.
They have the wrong name.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very, very true.
How many people have missed? We know these things. Is that right?
True.
It is wrong.
Yeah,
it
is very, very wrong.
It is very, very wrong.
What I find interesting, Professor, is when it comes to things like sports,
Yes.
you know, when our brothers and sisters from Rift Valley are winning medals, we embrace. We say they are Kenyans.
Yeah.
You know, but other times we discriminate against them. I think we should learn. I love what you've said, and I think that is what we should do. Every community has a strength.
Yes.
You know, people from Nyanza have a strength, people from Western have a strength, people from Eastern, people from Central, people from Mombasa, people from Northeastern. Every region of this country has a strength. If only we would maximize on those strengths.
Absolutely.
I think that can bring us
That's
together.
the way we should be going forward. And shame on you politicians who keep on telling us when you belong to this tribe and that tribe. I think they are very big enemies.
Yes.
Shame on you, elite, very educated people, and you still continue to do these things.
Yeah.
Why can't you sit down and reason? Shame on you.
Yes, I so agree with you.
Yes.
Professor, imagine our time is up.
Are you sure?
Yes. Yeah, but thank you. Thank you for this candid conversation. I agree. We need to have more of these conversations. Some things we should talk about them and not just ignore them. Yeah, because the more we talk about them, the more people realize that is true. That is making sense.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We are done with Food for Thought with Professor Ndetei for this week. Make sure you tune in next week as we get into another interesting conversation. If there are any topics you would want us to explore, and maybe this is something we were thinking about, and I would love your feedback from it. We were thinking of having an episode where we just have Q&A. Q&A on mental health issues with Professor Ndetei. If that is something you'd be interested in, let me know. And if it's something you'd be interested in, then I'll be asking you to send questions in advance that the professor can look at, and then we can have an episode where he tackles the questions that come from you.
Food for Thought with Professor David Bitté.
Thank you for watching. Remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can get notified whenever we upload new fresh content every day. Stay tuned and enjoy fresh, uplifting content.